Now, when it comes to the services of an operating system, now it divides into two major parts, right? So the one part is the providing user interfaces, right? So that part is about to discuss in the latter part of your lesson, right? So it shows like we have already experienced how nice our interfaces are, like the windows, the icons, things that is operating system is gifting for us, right? And it is because of the operating system that we are like mostly we are into some particular devices. Like think about the Windows 11. Now we are like we are very much urged to experience Windows 11 because it is provided with many different facilities, right? I can remember the same feeling that I had when I was given the chance to use the Windows 10. What kind of differences that Windows 10 is going to take, and like from Windows 7. When it is been converted into the Windows 8, it was a major development. Like Windows 7, so far the Windows was just a desktop and laptop kind of an operating system. But after Windows 8, like from the Windows 8, it was compatible in all the devices, right? So they had done these major differences when it comes to the operating system and major development of user interfaces to attract the people, right? You know, like when it comes to the user interfaces, it should be a very user-friendly one, right? So which we are going to discuss how user-friendly that particular Windows are, right? Or like that particular operating systems are, right? So before that, we are going to talk about how to manage the hardware of a computer and how the operating system is going to help to manage those kind of hardwares in the operating system, in the computer which is connected to it, right? So the first management that it is going to do is the process management. Right now, process management, like earlier, as I remember, I have shown you like kind of a processes are there when the programs are being executed. Those programs populate the processors, and those processors are being managed by the operating system, right? And I think I have shown you the task manager. Here I'm going to show it to you again, right? So if you visit the task manager in the Windows operating system, you can right click on the taskbar and go to the task manager, right? Once you visit the task manager, you can see different kinds of processes running inside it. Now, my task manager is in the detailed view. Sometimes your one will be loaded like this, right? So if you want to see something like mine, only thing you have to do is like click on the more details button, right? So once you click on that, you can get the detailed view regarding the Windows operating system or the operating system that is going on, right? So this actually shows you what are the processes running inside the computer. So this includes the programs which is started by me, that means started by the user, as well as the programs which is started by the operating system, right? So under the process tab, you can see a very big list. So like when it comes to this Windows desktop window manager, that is a service from the operating system. Zoom meeting, it is a meeting that we are carrying out. Microsoft screen magnifier, this is the one that I'm using, the magnifier, which is a program which is started by me. Client server runtime process, system, those kind of things taken care by the operating system and some other application programs. So likewise, it will list you several different, actually a big list of services in your computer, all right? As well as if you visit to the performance tab, which is the next tab, it will show you what are the utilization of the main components in your computer, like how the CPU is being utilized, right? How a memory is being utilized, how the hard disk is being utilized, Ethernet, right? And graphical processing unit, right? And I got 2 graphical processing units, so it shows how that is being utilized by several different programs, right? So likewise, now when it comes to the process management, this is the place where you have to concentrate. Now, in the latter part, the bottom part of this window, it shows you like what kinds of processes that is going on in the CPU. So to see that, you have to select the CPU first. Here I have select the GPU, not the GPU that you need to select. It is a CPU. So once you click on the CPU, in the latter part, see, it shows what's the utilization, what is the speed of the process, and see, here comes the component of ours, processes. So it has, now for the moment, my computer is taking care of 264 processes. And there is another term called threads, 2930, so it's changing, right? So this threads means later the processes will be divided into another smaller components called threads. So processes will be happen due to the program execution. Now, you know, like program is installed into my computer. Like if you take the Windows Explorer, and if you move to the C drive, inside the C drive, there is these two folders, which is called the programming files, right? So if you open one of those, you can see the different kinds of programs that is being installed into this computer, right? So when we are double clicking on something, or when we are executing something, the things which need to get executes, resources in other words, are inside here, all right? So as an example, let's see whether Zoom is here. Zoom is not in this folder, maybe in the other one. Yeah, now, oh, where do we have Zoom? Yes, let's go for something common, like, okay, GIMP is there, right? This is something, the graphical editing software. And since we have done the Microsoft Office, see, the Office is there, right? And as I remember, the packages, they should be handled very carefully, otherwise it's going to be a problem for me. Hold on. I can go to the shorter manner by saying Word. Right clicking on this, open file location. Yeah, there you go. Right, so I am inside the C partition, program data, Microsoft, Windows, start menu, programs. Right, so still this is not the correct, very correct version of this Word. Let me open the original file location. Open file location. There you go. Yeah. Now, as you can see, I am inside now Windows C partition, inside the program files, Microsoft Office, root, Office 16, and Office 16 contain this particular exe file called Windows or winbird.exe. Now, whenever I am like running the Windows application, this is the program that is going to execute, right? So it is installed into my computer. So once I double click on this, it will start its program. So the program is being start means this program will be loaded into the main memory. And when it comes to the main memory, it comes as processors, not like one complete program, right? So likewise, you can see those kind of processors is there in the CPU for the moment, right? Now, actually, now these 261 processors are not running inside the CPU at the same time, right? So this is giving you a particular frequency, right? So like CPU is capable of running a one process at a time, but it is doing that running thing in a very high frequency manner, right? Now my process speed is 3.10, like averagely it is something larger than 2.5 gigahertz. 2.5 gigahertz means my processor is capable of running 2.5 billion billion, B for ball, 5 billion instructions per second, people, per second, right? So you can assume how big or like how fast that the CPU is going to work. Now, these processors are there to show like this much of things can be run inside a CPU for a given particular time, right? So here they have taken 60 seconds as their timeline. So from 0 to 60 seconds, that means just 1 minute. So for 1 minute, this much of things are going to work, right? So that means inside my CPU, these 261 processors are being executed, right? So operating system, my Windows in my computer is helping to manage these processes, right? Now, what it does to do the manage of these processes, right? So then it creates a process queue, how these processes are going to be executed inside the CPU, who is going to execute, and how much of time is given to a particular process to be executed inside the CPU, right? And what are the other devices or like the input output devices that are related to these kind of processes are being taken care of the operating system. So without the operating system, a process will not be able to run inside the CPU because it is the one who is scheduling those processes into the CPU, right? So OS decides who is going to go in and who is going to stay inside the memory, right? So when the process management is done, operating system has the ability of toggling the process in between the memory and the CPU and allowing a specific time period for a particular process, right? Oh, no problem, Ositmi. I'm keeping the recordings here, though, so you can refer it from the website. You know how to refer it from the website, right? So it will be there in the website by tomorrow, though, so you will be able to see it, right? So you can stay until your phone get off, since it is a power cut, no worries, right? Okay, so then, yeah, so like those kind of things are done by the operating system, right? So regarding process scheduling, the making the space for the processors, giving a time inside the CPU, right? Those things are done by the operating system, right? Later, when you come to the, if you choose ICT for A-level, we are going to learn about this, how this is going to happen in very detail in the operating system lesson in the advanced level classes, right? Okay, so that is one of the services or one of the management that the operating system does, right? And the second management is the memory management. So memory management, you know, like we got here, we are mainly referred to the random access memory, the main memory. So the RAM, as we know, it is the one which keep things in its mind, or like storing things into it when the programs are being executed, right? So RAM itself has the capability of holding lots of processors inside it, right? RAM එක ගොඩාක් processors අල්ලගෙන ඉඳලා තමයි එක process එකක් CPU එකට දෙන්නේ එක සැරයකට, right? So then when this RAM is holding the processors, or in other words, the jobs inside it, operating system is the one who is deciding how much of processors that you are going to hold into this memory and how much memory is being allocated to a particular process, like who wants a memory allocation, who does not want a memory allocation. In some cases, operating system will decide like for how long that a particular process is going to be inside the RAM, right? Sometimes it use techniques, something called context switching and swapping kind of things, which are above your syllabus. They will shift the processors from back and forth to the hard disk, to manage the memory, right? So, however, when there is a fixed memory inside your computer, operating system will decide what portion of that memory is going to be used for a particular program, right? So then to have the maximum usage or give the maximum capabilities out of your computer system, operating system will manage that particular memory space in your computer, right? And majorly, when a program is executing, or like if the program start to execute, it will operating system will responsible of allocating some memory to that particular program, and once it is done, again operating system is responsible of free up that memory which is being used by that process earlier, right? So with that, operating system will do the memory management part, right? So apart from memory management, the next one is the device management. Now, when it comes to the devices, it recognizes all the devices which is connected to the computer system, like input devices, output devices, right? So those are the, we generally call those things peripheral devices, which are connected, like which are around the device and connected to the device externally, right? So it can be a joystick, it can be a speaker, microphone, a mobile phone, like iPod kind of things, USB devices, printer, a scanner, external hard disk kind of things can be there. So whatever the device which is being connected with the computer, operating system will be able to recognize those and will give the facility to manage those things. Now, if we fix a pen drive, it will directly show the things inside our pen drive in our this particular place. In the Windows 10, we call it the this PC place, or the place where it shows the details of my operating system. Now here it shows there are 2 partitions and a 1 CD drive. So if I fix a pen drive, right, let me fix a pen drive. So now when I'm fixing my pen drive, you will see, I have to, okay. You will see once it is being fixed, it will recognize quickly over here. See, so this folder is opened by the operating system automatically for me, and you can see there is something called ESD-USB, which is shown right over here, right? So this is how the devices are being managed, right? Now I'm going to unplug it, so it will taken away, and I'm fixing my mouse again. So when my mouse is being fixed, it is also recognizing the mouse and will allow the mouse pointer to move using the mouse, right? So likewise, all the devices connecting to the computer can be recognized and will be helped to recognize by the operating system, right? So operating system is the one who is giving the chance to the computer with the help of device driver thing. Like there is a small program called device drivers. With the help of those, operating system will help the computer, or in other words, the hardwares, to recognize there is another new hardware is being fixed to your operating system, right? So that is what you call device management, right? Is that clear, people, so far? What are the management which is done by the operating system? We talk about the process management, we talk about the memory management, and we talk about the device management, right? Okay. So later we are going to talk about the file management, which is a very helpful thing for us, right? Without the operating system, you won't be able to open Windows Explorer. This is the File Explorer or the Windows Explorer. And at its left-hand side, you can see all the locations that we can see in our computer. So once we click something, like click on some component at our left-hand side panel, the content inside it will be shown at the right-hand panel. right? So that is how the Windows operating system is allowing us to see the file system and to maintain the file system. Now, without this file system, without the file management, we won't be able to create the component called new folders, right? And you can realize if we don't have a component called folders, it's going to be a very big mess in our computer, right? Think about, you don't have a folder component called folder in your computer. So you have to keep files, all the files together, right? And it will be a worst nightmare of you. Now, if you are going to keep something like this is got a lot of folders. If you don't have these folders won't exist. If you don't have those, right, and the things inside it, right, we have make a committee folders, then system folder, it's a huge one, right? So all these files and folders are going to be on my screen, right? Then සමහරලාට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවනේ මේ desktop එක සමහර අය එච්චර වගකීමක් නැතුව නේද? එච්චර හිතන්නේ බලන්නේ නැතුව they use this. So they got lots of files filled on your desktop, right? If you do not have a component called folder, all the places in your computer is going to be looks alike, right? හැමතැනම ගියාම තියෙන්නේ files ම විතරයි, right? So ඔයාට හොයාගන්න ඕන file එක, you have to like go through it and you have to find that, right? Which will give some headaches to you, right? So operating system comes very handy with the file management, and it allows us to manage the files, categorize things into a folder, and we can keep things in a very proper manner. So when it comes to the computer, it has a separate place to keep the pictures. It has a separate place to keep the documents, right? Even we can create those things, right? So if you take my D drive, I have many different things, right? One folder is for my mother and the other one is for my school. Likewise, I have different kinds of things. So if I don't have any of these folders, if I don't have the ability to create these kind of folders, all these details are going to be with all together, right? So it will be very harder for me to find something, categorize something, right? Search something, right? So we should thankful to operating system to give us this kind of file management operation, or like a file management thing. So we will be able to categorize things in a very proper manner, right? And again, this particular privileges or the capabilities is given by the file manager as well. So we can make our file read, write, and executed using the file manager as well, right? So we have file properties, and those file properties will help us to make these things available. We are going to see when we are doing the practical regarding the operating system. So just for the moment, remember, file management is done by the operating system, right? Okay, so those are the management part. The last one is the security management. Now, when it comes to the security management, the very primary security that is given by the operating system for us is the password, right? So whenever you are like logging into the system, you will be asked for a password. You can set a password. If you want, you can get rid of that. But again, you can have a password to enter the system. And again, it gives us the ability to create many different user accounts, right? So when we create the user accounts, we can give several different privilege levels, right? Privilege levels means the permission to access certain resources, right? So if your computer is given the admin privileges, that particular account will be able to show everything in your computer. And if you have experienced your school laboratories, most of the school laboratories have set the permission as the teacher account and a student account, right? You may have experienced that some of the places is not given or not allowed you to seek or search using the student permissions. Like through the student account, you won't be able to go into some particular places. Right now, in my experience, I always like limit the C drive for students because it contains all the important files, right? So when I set the access privileges, student won't be able to go inside to the C drive, but to the other drives, right? But when a teacher is logged into it, teacher is given the permission to go anywhere he or she wants, right? So that security management can be managed like that. As well as some of the operating systems are built up with a virus guard or an antivirus software. And again, it is helping on those particular aspects as well. Now, if you take the Windows operating system, when you are installing the Windows operating system, the Windows Defender or the Windows security now is already been installed into your operating system. So this works as a very fine antivirus software. So it gives us the security as well, right? And finally, the network management, right? So when it comes to the network management, not a special kind of a software that we have to use. Just by using the operating system, we can connect one particular computer with another particular computer. So to do that, we have the network sharing center in operating system in the Windows, like which is indicated over here. So if I move to the network, if I'm connected with a network, it will show the things here. So far I have closed the network discoverable things, right? Hold on. Right, so this will show my computer only over here. If I network with these several different devices, all the devices will be shown over here. So through that, I will be able to connect with the devices, which is networked with my computer, right? So to see that, you can easily experience this when you go to your laboratory at school, right? Go and see this particular network icon in the Windows Explorer. So once you click on it, the network device should be appear over here, right? Sometimes it won't show you very limited icons due to some user restrictions. Other than that, you will be able to see all the things, right? So when I'm having the network facility, just by staying on this screen, I will be able to access all other computers, right? And do the communication with those. Like having access with all other computers means I won't be given the total control of the other computers, but to share some particular documents, to receive some resources from that computer, will be given that kind of chances. So it is managed by the operating system, right? So those are the management parts, which is done by the operating system. So we'll quickly write some short note about this so we can move forward, right? So yeah, let's start from here. Services of an operating system. Put the heading people, services of an operating system. And you better write these two. There are two main services performed by an operating system. And they are, and then put this as a subheading, managing the hardware of a computer. Put it as a subheading. Let me know when you're done, people. Right, one is done. How about the others? Okay, is there anyone still writing this? Okay, Ravindu. Hurry up. All right. Okay, so let's move forward. Right. So you better have a subheading called Managing the Hardware of a Computer. So under that, put number 1 and say process management, right? So under process management, you are going to write these things.
Sir, under process management, up to where should we write?
Wait, Putta, I'm going to highlight the things, right?
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we can write it over here, right? So yeah, start it from here. So it defines what is a process, and as well, yeah, as well as the second para. And the very first line of this. Yeah. So for process management, write these things only. All right, two are done. How about others? Ah, no, just one is done. How about others? Okay. All right, Tesandu, we have written some of the things, Buddha. I think it's better you keep a one page from an exercise book, right? Not from a CR. If it is a CR, so half a page is enough, right? So we are going to do the next one, the memory management. So regarding the memory management, let's write down these things. Let me highlight to you. Yeah, you may start it from here. Right under the memory management, the highlighted part. All right, people, is there anyone still writing this regarding the memory management? Okay, Ravidu, finish it up. Okay, Ravidu, are you done? Okay, right. So you have to add this part as well to the memory management. So at that, then after we can go for the device management. Okay, one is done. How about others? Okay, two are done, three are done. Is there anyone still writing this? Right, so moving forward, device management. Regarding the device management, you have to write this, the first paragraph. Okay, one is done. How about others? Okay, is there anyone still writing this? Okay, Rabidu, hurry up. Okay, Ravindu, are we done? Right. So then you have to add this as well. And here I couldn't mention you, like there are devices now we can use like just by fixing to the computer. You don't need to install any additional softwares. So those are called plug and play devices. When you are using a USB stick or a USB pen drive, you just fix in and you can do the data transferring part. But there are some devices which cannot use that in that way. As an example, a printer, right? A printer won't be able to use just by fixing into the computer. Some of the printers have the capability of printing out some documents just by connecting it to the computer. But again, it won't show its 100% capabilities until you set to the computer or until you install a specific software regarding the printers, which we call device drivers, into your computer, right? So you have to specifically install device drivers to the computer to say, okay, you got a computer or you got a printer which is connected to your computer, has these kind of capabilities, right? So in those scenarios, sometimes if you just fix a printer and put a printout, even though it is capable of printing out A3 size printouts, it will only allow you to print A4 size printouts, right? නැත්නම් duplex printing කරන්න පුළුවන් machine එකක් නම් දෙපැත්තම print කරන්න පුළුවන් machine එකක් නම් එක සැරේ it won't be showing that capability until the device drivers will be installed, right? So there are some devices where we have to install those device drivers specifically, and there are some devices which is acting as plug and play. Like if you take a webcam, you really don't need to install anything. You can just plug the webcam and use that. So when you are plugging it for the very first time, you will see some installation part is going on. So then after, you are given the chance to use that particular device. So that kind of devices are called plug and play devices. Right? Okay, copy that down, people. Then we'll go for the network management as well. Okay, one is finished writing. How about the others? Okay, two are done.
Done, sir.
Okay, so is there anyone who is still writing this? Yes, Sudamya. Mouse, keyboard, those are like acting as a plug and play devices. Like most of the plug and play devices are connected with the USB ports, right? And if you take a projector kind of a thing, you can connect it through the HDMI cables as well, right? So most of the things that can be connected through the USB are considered as a plug and play devices. Basically, when it comes to the mouse, keyboard, microphone, right? Those kind of things, they are considered as plug and play devices, USB drivers, those kind of things, right? Okay, now regarding the file management, this is what you are going to write. You have to write the heading. Then after you can list down these things. plus this latter part, right? So I'm going to show that to you. So first you have the file management, the heading, or like the fourth point, right? Then you can write these things. Okay, one is done. How about others? Anyone who is still writing? Okay. Quickly finish that. Ravindu. Yeah, Udamya, it's like installation of antivirus is not a security management of an operating system, though it is kind of a separate installation. Right? Actually, when it comes to the security management by an operating system, it is like providing the username and password facilities when you are logging into a particular account, and providing access privileges. Like I said, like you can set the privileges for a same folder, some people to get access and some others to not to have the access, right? Those kind of the primary type of security features are there, which is given by the operating system. As an additional software, some of the operating system like Windows, they install, or like they are built up with the antivirus software within it. When we are installing the operating system, we are getting that build up antivirus software as a free app, or like as a free software, right? So it is an additional task actually. Just like installing any kind of antivirus software is not a task of the security management tool. It is a separate thing that we do, right? It is another utility software that we are installing, right? Tesandu, backup means, right, it's like this. Now, when I'm having my important details in my computer, like I'm keeping my all learning materials or like teaching materials in a particular folder inside my computer. So like in case if my computer got a problem, I won't be able to access that particular system. Or in case if a virus attack and attack to my all the file systems, and those data can be lost. So due to those kind of reasons, I always back up my details into the cloud, right? So like it is like keeping a same copy or something very similar as our important details on some different place. You can back up it to a cloud, or you can back up it to a CD or a DVD. Yeah, like a copy. It is not like actually it is a copy, right? So you keep it up, so later you can use that in case of emergency, right? Okay, are we done with writing these things?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have to copy this very last line as well. So please copy that as well. Periodic backups means like it happens when you are gathering the details in a very frequent manner. Now, if you take a company like banks, or institute like banks, they are always tend to have a huge amount of data into their institutes and into their devices daily, right? Because it is going on a it is dealing with very big transaction details, right? So on those type of with those kind of institute, they have to take periodic backups. Like so, දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ දවසක්ම ඉඳලා backup ගන්න ගියොත් it will be a very big backup that they need to create. So for that, there are some softwares which can fix the periodically backing up process. So like as usually they just run a backup process like 2 times a day, maybe 3 times a day, according to the amount of data that they are receiving, right? So it is kind of a practice of taking backup though, right? Okay, are we done with writing, people? Anyone still writing this? Okay. Right. So regarding the security management, I have to read things for you, right? So have the subheading or the number 5 in your list, security management. So you can write it like this. You may write this particular line. I'll type the rest of things over here, right? So you can manage it. Hold on. Yeah, you can write this down as well.
So in the last one, there it should be ability to create, right?
Yes, Buddha, thank you very much for the correction. It should be create, right? I misspelled that thing.
Okay.
I can't edit it then once after I fix it there. Ah, yeah, I can. Let's create. Different user accounts, sorry. Udamya, you can't take internet as a cloud computing doer. Cloud computing is specifically comprises of three things, which we call infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. Like in the grade 11 book, we are going to learn about the cloud computing. So it's kind of like if you take Google Drive, it gives you all the aspects of the cloud computing, right? It gives infrastructures like hard disk and all these things where we can store the data. So we don't need a hard disk in our computer, but we can store the data in somewhere else without having a hard disk of our own. So it is an infrastructure related thing, right? And Google Drive provides us some particular softwares like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides kind of things. So those are cloud-based softwares. That means we don't need to install those things in our computer, but we can use those softwares. So it is software as a service in the cloud computing. And again, as a platform, now we need an operating system, that is what we call platform, to run all other softwares, right? So if you want to work with Word, you should have Windows first of all. Then you can install Word or the MS Office on your operating system. Without the operating system, you won't be able to install the softwares. So since we are using the softwares in the cloud or like in the Google Drive, so Google Drive itself working as an operating system, which has different kinds of software installed into it. So it gives us the platform facilitating as well, right? If you want more details, you can go for the grade 11 book. You can download it by the publication website. So in the third lesson, we are talking about the cloud computing. Okay, are we done with this, people? Yes, everyone? Right, great. So let's write about the network management and end the session, right? So by next week, it's most of the practical part that we are left with, right? So this teasing writing part will be end today, hopefully. So the final one, the network management, right? So regarding network management, yeah, you can go for it like this, using the first paragraph. Yeah, and this part from the second para as well. Okay, if you are done with this, we can end the session. So once you are done, you can leave the session, people. So thank you very much. So next week, hopefully we will be able to finish up the operating system lesson. Some very familiar practicals are there for you to get to know, right? What is a file operation system and what are the like copy and paste and all these things. You guys know those things already. So I'll show those things to you. So we can move to the next lesson, which is the presentation software, which is again a small practical lesson where you can where we can finish it. Maybe one day will be enough for that, right? We'll see. Right. So have a very nice weekend, people. So if you are done with this, you can leave the session, right? Thank you very much and have a very good night.
Thank you, sir.